Welcome to UIC United Faculty Contract Bargaining Update 2026. I'm Dave Crockett. I am Professor of Marketing over in the College of Business Administration.
And I'm Becky Bonarek. I'm a lecturer in the UIC Tutorium. So today we're going to be talking about bargaining, the contract bargaining cycle that has already started. We've done 2 bargaining sessions so far, 2 in April. Our most recent was last Monday, April 20th.
Why don't you tell us a little bit more about the role of each party to these negotiations?
So there are 2 sides. There's us, UIC United Faculty. Our bargaining team consists of about 20 people from all different colleges, both East and those bargaining units that are available on West Campus, anywhere from lecturer to full professor. And then on the other side is management. So when we're talking about bargaining, you may hear us say management, or you may read management instead of university. Because when we're in contract negotiations, they are management. They are our bosses, and that is who a union bargains with.
But keep in mind, we are the university.
Yes. They like to divide us from the university, but we are what makes the university function.
Well, how do these sessions typically go? I know you've been involved a little bit longer than I have.
Yeah, this is my second round of bargaining. So typically what happens in a typical bargaining session is one side will present articles for the other side to read. When management presents, usually they only present counter proposals. So we'll talk in a little bit about articles we have already presented, proposals we have presented, and then we present it to management. We talk a little bit about the changes we've made. We present them in that way, saying why we made those changes. And then management has an opportunity to ask questions right away. Usually they don't, unless there's a really obvious question. They'll take those articles, those proposals, into caucus, usually about a half hour. They could mark up those proposals, strike things, add things, or not. Usually it's not. Usually they come up with questions to ask us. So then both sides come back together. Then management will ask questions of us, and we will answer these hopefully clarifying questions, and then we go our separate ways. During that pause between sessions is when both teams are reading through what the other side has proposed and agreeing, disagreeing. This is where that protocol comes in.
Well, we should probably talk a little bit about protocol.
Yeah, so what do we do in the first couple bargaining sessions?
All right. So I know everyone loves to talk about protocol, so let's just jump
So fun.
Yeah, jump right into that. So a couple things happen, and they are part of the scenery, but they are very important. So each negotiating team is trying to establish its own pace, though we do try to generally have some agreement on protocol, what we do under what conditions and what it's supposed to mean. So UIC United Faculty has crafted a new contract that we believe represents all of our interests as a joint faculty, both tenure system and non-tenure system. We have presented that full contract to them, and they've had it for months. So we're ready to roll. On the other hand, it is not uncommon for management to feel like it has the benefit of time. I've only been here since 2022, but my understanding is that we have never had a contract that didn't run out before we got to the new one.
That is accurate.
Yeah. So that's kind of the issue around pace in terms of protocol. Again, that really is about, what are the, and what organization do things happen, or what order, I should say, do things happen, and what do they mean? So again, we are presenting, we are asking for a new contract. And so we present, and then they typically counter what we present. And ideally, that's how it goes. We are in the fairly early stages, and so we are both kind of battling over some of that space. We would like to pick things up, and they are very much wanting to slow things down.
Yeah, so a change from previous contract cycles is we wanted to present them with a full contract, the whole thing, both tenure track and non-tenure track. The reason for this is in the past, management has said, oh, well, we can't really discuss this one article, these contract proposals, because we haven't seen this other contract proposal, usually having to do with the money. So to kind of, avoid that whole argument for slowing things down, we have presented them with full contracts. That argument is gone. And this will hopefully set us down the path of settling this contract before this one expires in August.
We will knock on wood on that one.
Oh, mhm.
So the other thing that I want to make sure that we cover is communications as part of protocol. So we will be giving updates. We want to encourage everyone to come to as many bargaining sessions as you can. It's always good to have people there, but it's also, advisable at some point to come see how this sausage gets made. One thing that we are not allowed to do is to name names here. So you will frequently hear us use management as the stand-in for whoever said something on the other team, because we're not allowed to name names. But if you come to the sessions, you can see who said what.
Yeah.
So all the cool kids are there. So come to the sessions.
Yeah. We'll also be giving these bargaining updates on YouTube. We'll also be giving bargaining updates through email. So please keep checking your emails. But so we've been through 2 bargaining sessions already. What articles have we discussed so far?
So one of the things that we've tried to do is present articles to management in batches. So we have groups of articles in the contract that hang together some kind of way. However, there are a couple of articles in that batch that are completely unchanged that management has decided to hold on to. They have not tabled them. So Article 2, which is on recognition, and Article 5, which is on diversity and affirmative action.
Yeah, those 2 are of note. Article 2 includes recognition of bridge to faculty as a member, as a unit, bargaining unit. And diversity and affirmative action is exactly what it sounds like. And we went through decisional bargaining back in the fall over changes to UIC's promotion and tenure requirements over DEI. And it's interesting to note, but not surprising, that they have held this. They have not given a counter proposal. Like I said, the way that bargaining goes is you propose, and then the other team, usually management, gives a counter proposal. They haven't done that yet. They're just holding it. So that is of note.
Okay. There will be more on this topic in the days to come, but we are waiting to see how they respond to this and when they respond to it. We have also presented in our negotiations summaries of a few other articles that are worth summarizing. So we have presented to them verbally on Article 9, which is about appointment and reappointment, promotions, layoffs, and recalls. Article 10, which is on safeguarding academic freedom and academic work. And we have proposed and presented a brand new article, which is Article 24 on educational technology and artificial intelligence. And finally, in our most recent meeting, we presented Article 14 on physical conditions.
So even though we've given them a whole contract to kind of chew on, we're still batching these articles around our platform, which you can see behind Dave, our faculty, our university, and our community. So at each bargaining session, we've chosen to present different articles that relate to our platform. So when you come to the bargaining sessions, you'll hear different articles being presented, being justified, being talked about, even though management has the whole contract already. So,
and to be clear, a lot of that presentation is for you guys. So come to the bargaining sessions. We want you to know what's in the contract. They already have it written out, but we present it anyway, and some, at least this part, so you all can hear it.
mhm.
So let me very quickly summarize what we presented, and I think I can do this in a few sentences for each. Each of these is pretty important. So I'll start with the article on education technology and artificial intelligence. The big changes here are that we are looking to have meaningful faculty input into campus level and unit level decisions about educational technology and artificial intelligence. And so we believe that that is, if that's what we're supposed to be working on, that that is the purview of the faculty to have some say in what that is and some options in terms of what that is. We also want to see to make sure, particularly in the age of artificial intelligence, that our intellectual property rights continue to be respected, and that we have faculty opt-ins for most ed tech kinds of products, right? So there are some things on campus that everyone needs to use, but many, if not most, ed tech products really should be optional, and faculty should not be forced to use them. On appointment and reappointment, a lot of the new language there is about closing loopholes, particularly around what's been done in some units with visiting appointments and what's currently being done in some units with program reorganization and discontinuance. Faculty who have been here, especially those on multi-year contracts, should be protected even when programs reorganize. We have some language where we are asking to standardize the notice of appointment that faculty get, each year as part of their contract status, and particularly for our NTT faculty who are and or should be on multi-year contracts. We want those notices to state the year of their status and the year of completion. And we want earlier notice of reappointment and some standard reporting on university level hiring for each faculty job title and by multi-year status. On academic work and academic freedom, most people have a pretty good feel of what academic freedom is, and we all know that it's under attack from a lot of different actors. So we have some language in the contract that clarifies where academic freedom issues go through the Senate and where they should be part of contract grievances. And namely, we assume that we make explicit our assumption that when faculty are speaking outside the classroom, they're speaking independently and not as agents of the University of Illinois. And then finally, we add language around what we're calling academic work. Some courts have interpreted academic freedom in the narrowest possible terms to include only faculty output that is publishable as research. But we all know that we have lots of different roles on this campus, and our freedom of speech should extend to those roles as well. Universities should be obligated to support faculty who have been targeted for their speech. The university in-house should have some standardized, at least at the unit level, processes for grade appeals by students. And again, our intellectual property rights should be respected. And then finally, we presented on physical conditions. Most of that language is the same as what's in the current contract, but we do make it explicit that this educational space, that's every space on this campus, is private and it should be protected, private in the sense that it should be protected by the Fourth Amendment. So every employee and every student on this campus should have protection against unreasonable search and seizure by any agent of the state, whether that's ICE, whether that's CPD or whomever. And we want that to be codified and made very explicit as part of our contract. We also have some language that specifies when we believe there has been a violation of Americans with Disabilities Act. But when we have those issues with the physical plant, that there's a procedure in place to take those concerns. And then finally, because we are growing, we have faculty who are running out of space to work. And that's got to be something that the university provides, or if faculty have to provide that on their own, the university should cover those costs. That should not be up to faculty members to cover.
We also heard one verbal counter proposal, and we're still waiting for that in writing, so we'll reserve judgment on that.
And that was on appointment and reappointment.
Yes.
So they've gone through and said, we like this, we don't like that, but we're waiting to see it in writing.
Speaking of appointment, reappointment for NTT faculty, let's talk a little bit about why these articles matter. So Article 9, appointment, reappointment in specific, is a core issue for non-tenure track faculty. It is something that is consistently raised in the bargaining survey that we put out before bargaining every year. It's consistently raised in listening sessions, and some of those issues that we have in appointment, reappointment are ones that we have proposed for every contract. Those closing of loopholes, the earlier notice of reappointment, all of these things have been continuously raised to our union staff and to our bargaining teams as pain points. So we have added those proposals back into the contract, and we're going to keep fighting for those. Another thing to keep in mind is that Article 5, the diversity and affirmative action article that they are holding. Again, it's interesting but not surprising that they're holding it, that they have not written a counter proposal to that yet. So just like with appointment and reappointment, we'll hold judgment until we actually see a counter proposal, but it is another flag that we would like to raise. And something that came up in the last bargaining session was the fact that management is trying to divide our two bargaining units. Technically, we have one union, but two contracts, non-tenure track and tenure track. And we are of the mind that we are that one union. Can you talk a little bit about what was said during the last bargaining session?
Sure. So here, I think what we saw is that the university would very much like to think about the two bargaining units as distinct, and they want to think about each bargaining session as being either NTT, TT, or joint. Every session is joint as far as we are concerned. Most of our contract language overlaps. There are obviously areas where it's different because our job functions can be different in some ways. That is how we function. That is how we will continue to function. And that is one of those issues around protocol where they can try to do what they're going to do, but we're going to do what we're going to do. And we're one union.
Yeah, this is one of those PowerPoints, not PowerPoint, one word, two words, PowerPoints, power struggles. And we will not be divided. We are in solidarity, NTT faculty with TT faculty, TT with NTT. We are in solidarity because of that overlap between our working conditions. And that is also why our bargaining team is so diverse. You have lecturers, NTT faculty with full professors, TT faculty, because our working conditions are very similar, and we will not be divided.
If we're going to keep it a buck, there's nothing that either one of us can win by ourselves.
No.
And so we need to be together. And that's how we have crafted each of these contracts.
Solidarity, community is how we will win this next contract.
Indeed.
So, thanks for joining us. We'll have another bargaining recap after our next bargaining session, which is on Monday, April 27th. Same time, same place, 12:30 p.m. in Student Center East, room 603 in the tower. So come see us then. In the meantime, keep up with us on the social medias, on Instagram in specific, here on YouTube, and on TikTok.
Come to the bargaining sessions.
Yeah.
All right.
See you there.
Later.